If you're gonna dream, dream big. If you're gonna go, go big. Don't settle, right? You guys wanna be like everybody else and be a sheep, or you wanna be a lion?
If you do something new and complex, from everything that life threw at you, who could you become?
Hard work works. Make good choices, good things happen. There's never a wrong time to do what's right.
There are no shortcuts in life. The only way to make it is the long way, which is do it right, build it slow, build a foundation on rock. And when we do that and other people haven't taken the time to do it, well, they think that there's shortcuts. And the shortcuts that they want to choose are to try to pull up stuff from our past or do whatever. Listen, if I wouldn't have gone through all that stuff when I was younger, I wouldn't have the company I have today. I wouldn't lead the way I do today. I wouldn't believe the way I believe today. How many of you at some point in your life said you're going to do something big, and then what you did is you stopped, you quit, you did. Someone didn't make you quit. No one can make you quit, am I correct? No one can make you quit, only you can quit. So number one, if you want to win, you better believe that you're worth it. So one of the things that I believe is that I'm worth it. And there was a time in my life that I didn't believe that. You know what you want. Now I'm going to ask you a question. If you wrote down on a piece of paper what you really wanted and became concrete, crystal clear, you probably have some people tell you you can't do it. Am I right? Matter of fact, I'd be willing to bet 100% of the people that you know in your life would tell you it's not possible. And I mean 100. If you're going to dream, dream big. If you're going to go, go big. Don't settle, right? You guys want to be like everybody else and be a sheep, or you want to be a lion? If you're going through hell, look, man, God made you to get ready to do some big stuff in life. He needs people that are broken to fix broken people. God forgives you for everything you've done. All the things that have happened to you bad in your life are preparing you and getting you ready for what you're going to go through next. People will debate what's the toughest, what's the strongest. Hey, dude, I just want to play in the game. I don't give a who's the biggest, the toughest, the strongest. I know for me and my family, I want to be the one that gets remembered. I want to show up. I want my kids to admire me. And I want to look in the mirror. Forget about my wife, my kids, and making money and everything for just a second. I want to look in the mirror and be proud of who I am. And I think internally, that's called value. Am I right? So I want to tell some of you guys in here, the reason why a lot of you can't even get on the journey to get with like what you want is because you don't believe that you can even have it. How do you know if you're a true visionary or you're crazy? By the way, a lot of us in here probably work from a state of madness, and we are crazy. And we push ourselves from a level of nobody believed in us, we believed in ourselves, and then we're pushing to prove everybody wrong and to push to prove to ourselves that we can do what we said we can do. But how do you know the difference? How do you know the difference though between a true visionary or somebody who's crazy? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's really simple. You make what you say happen.
I got to a place, even though I was in prison, I wasn't going to wait till tomorrow or next semester or next year or whenever I got released to begin my change. Right now, in the middle of my external uncomfortability, I was going to make a stand, and I realized hard work works. Make good choices, good things happen. There's never a wrong time to do what's right. Hard work and good choices will always create opportunities for your dreams, your plans, the things you've thrown against the wall to begin to be activated. I was in prison. My external situation seemed pretty difficult. It was uncomfortable, but in the moment I was staying active of talking and communicating and making choices. I slowed life down. Listen, is this decision to treat somebody this way or that way? To do my job or my responsibility or my chore or my homework? Am I going to do it or not do it? And I balanced everything through this lens. Is this bringing what I threw against the wall closer, or is this pushing it farther away? Hard work works. Make the next right choice. It gets closer and closer. And hard work and good choices will create opportunities in the middle of your chaos, in the middle of your storm. For me, what happened is I found the courage in the middle of an uncomfortable situation in a storm that seemed hopeless, to be honest, to not be afraid to face the thing that I was the most afraid of, which was me. And I began to be not afraid of feeling at times uncomfortable and being transparent and honest with my emotions with not just me, but with the people around me. And I got to the place of understanding that conversations and communication ignites the thing inside of me called resiliency and problem solving. And even though my storm was crazy, I slowed down my life and said, this choice to be responsible or to be respectful or just to do whatever I know I'm supposed to do in my story. You all have your own unique rhythms and daily habits and things that you need to achieve and the things that you need to accomplish so that you look in the mirror and you feel like, yes, I can. In the middle of your storm, I slowed down. I started making the next right choice because I promise you, transparency and accountability, using the people around you, but then also realizing that we've got skin in the game, which is called action, which is called choices and decisions, and doing our best to do the next right thing and treat people the way that we want to be treated. Doors and opportunities will always open in the middle of your storm.
Much of the biochemistry of motivation and emotion is transformed when you take a stressor, which could be oppressive and paralyze you and cause you to withdraw, and you reverse that and you decide to advance. It's like a different spirit inhabits you. And I mean this physiologically. There's a whole different pattern of being that makes itself manifest in you neurologically and psychophysiologically and pharmacologically. So you take it on as a challenge. That transforms you at a cellular level too, because one of the things we've discovered in recent years is that if you do something new and complex, that from everything that life threw at you, who could you become? Are more things thrown at us than we can manage? Pretty dreadful things are thrown our way. And you might say, well, that's just presents an insuperable barrier to progress. That's not very helpful because you're alive, here you are, you got these problems to contend with, and if it's an impossible task, then how could you be anything but hopeless and desperate? But then you think, well, wait a second, how would things transform if I took this on as a voluntary adventure? You know, regardless of its scope, and the scope would include unjust suffering, death, and hell. That's not just some religious or metaphysical vision. It's like, no, you're actually going to have to contend with that in your life. Then you think too, well, could it be any other way? It's like, well, we have all these problems in our lives, and we could think there's two possible ways of approaching those problems. One would be we just ignore them in the hopes they would, what, go away? Nobody believes that. We know perfectly well, but if you got to face something, man, you better face it. And if you're going to face it, that's probably the best pathway forward. And then you might think, well, what does that mean ultimately? And it might mean something like, face it.